While taking an important client home tonight, my wife, Victoria Sutton, the company president, secretly took my car to go joyriding with her male assistant, Ethan Young. The car kept sending unusual activity alerts. I sent her a screenshot from my phone, but her first reaction was to accuse me. "Why are you monitoring me?" Then she angrily told me the assistant was just a subordinate at her charity association and gay besides, insisting I shouldn't be so suspicious. The client, Mr. Harrison, tried to smooth things over, telling me it was all right, but she furiously insulted him over the phone. She nearly blew a multi-million-dollar deal for me. I didn't argue further. I immediately contacted my father, Richard Alden, the head of our international parent company, to investigate her charity's accounts and initiate a divorce. Later, she panicked, knelt, and begged for forgiveness. "Mr. Alden, holding a black card for the Sterling Lounge means you're either rich or influential. Treating me here, I'm truly honored." Outside the exclusive club, the client, Howard Harrison, clapped me on the shoulder drunkenly, his voice full of surprise. I smiled, steadying him. "I have a friend to thank for this, and did me the honor of signing such a huge deal today. The least I can do is see you home personally." Closing this deal meant I could finally breathe easier this year. I could even take my wife on a proper honeymoon. But when I got to the parking lot and pulled out my keys, the car was gone. Simultaneously, my phone buzzed with the unusual activity alert from the car. Mr. Harrison looked surprised. "Mr. Alden, that kind of alert usually means, well, someone might be having a tryst in the car." I narrowed my eyes, smiling faintly, and asked the client to wait for a moment. At last year's company gala, my wife not only gave my top salesperson award to her charity's male assistant, but as a celebrated charity goddess. She brought him along to numerous high-profile events, and she had a spare key to this car. Some things were painfully obvious, even though she'd sworn to me before that their relationship was purely professional, related to the charity work. For her sake, to maintain her charity goddess's image, I'd even ceded the company presidency to her. And now she pulled this kind of stunt right in front of my client. I immediately called my wife, Victoria. When she answered, her voice held a trace of panic. "Is it wrong for me to drive the car?" But she quickly turned accusatory. "Are you monitoring me?" I didn't say anything, just sent her the screenshot of the car's unusual activity alert. Victoria suddenly flew into a rage. "What's that supposed to mean? Are you still suspecting something's going on between me and Ethan?" The Ethan she mentioned was Ethan Young, the assistant at her charity association. And Victoria, my wife, was the president of my company and the chairperson of its affiliated charity. I calmly told her, "I've told you before, this car is specifically for client meetings. Don't take it out for joyrides. And secondly, regarding the unusual activity alert, you know the likely reason better than I do." Just then, I heard her assistant's timid voice on the line. "Victoria, it's all my fault. I'm the one causing Mr. Alden to misunderstand you." Victoria's voice instantly turned cold. "Ethan, how is this your fault? It's always someone being paranoid." Mr. Harrison, wondering why I was taking so long, came over and overheard this exchange. He gave an awkward laugh. Mr. Alden, it seems like this isn't a good time. I can just grab a cab myself." Unexpectedly, Victoria erupted. "On who are you trying to impress, playing the victim? Does Victoria Sutton need your petty business? Anyone associating with sincere Alden probably deserves nothing better than a taxi." Mr. Harrison's face instantly turned livid. His reputation in the business world was legendary. Back when he was a major player, Victoria Sutton was practically a nobody. That he didn't explode right then, and there was already a huge show of respect towards me. "Mr. Alden," he said stiffly, "I respect you as a person. If you were to move to a different company, our cooperation would continue. But under these circumstances, I need to reconsider." The assistant piped up again on the phone, sounding aggrieved. "I've caused trouble for Mr. Alden. It's my fault the deal he worked so hard on is falling through." Hearing this, Victoria snapped, Does anyone need you to reconsider? I, Victoria Sutton, declare we will never cooperate with you." The call ended abruptly. Mr. Harrison, furious, turned to leave. I quickly stepped in front of him. Mr. Harrison. And let's discuss the deal later. This black card for the Sterling Lounge's privileges are yours for the next year. NT covers hotels and flights nationwide. Please, take your family on a trip. Relax a little. Consider it my apology." The client's expression softened noticeably, but the deal was still off. Towards Victoria, I had lost all patience. I sent her a cold message. "Victoria, you owe me an explanation." Her reply was still dismissive. "What explanation? I've done nothing wrong. It's your paranoia acting up again." I locked my phone and turned it off, unwilling to say more. I immediately called the bank and canceled Victoria's supplementary credit card. Then, I contacted the tech support at the parent company overseas to investigate the charity's financial records. I had risked everything for this company while Victoria was constantly involved in questionable affairs. This marriage needed to end. Victoria didn't come home that night. It wasn't until the next morning, as I sat drinking coffee and reviewing the accounts flagged by the head office investigation, that Victoria returned, looking exhausted. The moment she entered, she flung her high heels at me. "What right do you have to cancel my card?" I brushed the dirt off my clothes where the shoe hit, speaking calmly. "Victoria, I told you yesterday, you owe me an explanation, but you stayed out all night." Victoria frowned tightly. "I was planning to buy you a gift this morning to apologize. I was wrong yesterday. I spoke too harshly, but you didn't give me a chance." I laughed. "So, I'm supposed to pay for your apology? Then you should know, my money isn't yours to spend whenever you feel like it." Victoria flushed with shame and anger. "Can you stop suspecting people? And Ethan is gay. You know that his boyfriend even came to pick him up last time." I looked up at her strangely. If what Victoria said was true, then were the photos I received late last night, showing her passionately kissing her male assistant, fake? Last night there was urgent charity business to handle. Ethan and I were working. Seeing my silence, Victoria came over and took my hand, but I clearly smelled a gardenia fragrance on her that wasn't her own. In group photos from their charity events, Ethan was always holding gardenias. Instantly, I knew it was his cologne. The evidence was irrefutable. A sharp pain pierced my heart, but I quickly suppressed it. Years of negotiating with powerful figures had taught me self-control. In my heart, I had already decided to cut ties with this relationship. "Let's get a divorce, Victoria. My lawyer will contact you later with the divorce agreement." Victoria suddenly seemed to notice the strong gardenia scent clinging to her. Her face paled with panic, and she quickly threw her arms around me. Husband, you're just trying to scare me, right?" I looked at her coldly. I stared at her for a full minute, watching her eyes shift from panic to fear. "When we've been married for 3 years, you know my temperament. Once I make a decision, I never change it. Besides, I gave you a chance to explain. You chose to stay out all night." Victoria tightened her grip, her voice choked with tears. "Husband, really, nothing happened between Ethan and me." But just then, the male assistant's voice came from outside the door. "Victoria, you left your clothes at the hotel yesterday. I brought them over for you." The door wasn't locked. Her assistant walked in, holding a pair of black lace panties. Fear nearly spilled from Victoria's eyes. "Listen to me, husband, let me explain." The assistant entered and saw Victoria clinging to me desperately. He froze for a moment, then immediately dropped to his knees, crying, "Mr. Alden, it's my fault. Please don't blame Victoria. Indeed, rained last night. Victoria took a shower at the hotel and accidentally left these behind when she changed, but nothing happened between us." As he spoke, he started slapping his own face repeatedly. Seeing my disbelief, the assistant suddenly lunged, grabbed a fruit knife from the coffee table and slashed his own arm. "Mr. Alden, consider this / my admission of fault. And Ethan, Victoria rushed over to help him up. She turned back to me, her eyes blazing with fury. Sincere Alden, are you satisfied now? Does forcing someone to self-harm make you feel better? I'm taking Ethan to the hospital now. As for the divorce, say whatever you want. I won't agree. Victoria started to leave. But I suddenly called out, "Hold on." Victoria frowned. "What other nonsense do you want to spout?" The assistant also feigned weakness. "Mr. Alden, if you're still not satisfied, just let me die here." Their synchronized performance really made them look like a couple. I smiled, pointing first at the car keys in Victoria's hand, then at the table in front of me. "Don't take my car." "You?" Victoria slammed the car keys down on my table and stormed out, slamming the door behind her. After they left, I looked down at the charity accounts report, focusing on the items circled in red pen. I saw that the two of them had long been embezzling company funds, funneling them as donations to the charity. There was even an expense from late last night, charged to the company account for potency medication. Was there any point in discussing this further? I immediately called my lawyer to draft the divorce papers. The next morning, as I walked into the company building, I noticed my subordinates looking at me with undisguised disgust. When I greeted them, they ignored me completely. Arriving at my office, I found my key wouldn't open the lock. Peeking through the glass door, I saw the nameplate on the general manager's desk had been changed to Ethan Young. So Ethan Young, a nominally powerless assistant from the charity, had replaced me as the regional sales general manager? My phone suddenly rang. I answered. It was my father, Richard Alden, calling from the head office in Italy. "Sincere, is this the unscripted life you wanted, hiding your identity? I advise you to get divorced quickly. Your wife's scandals have reached headquarters. It's not just the accounts. She's suspected of stealing core company technology. Isabel Osborne, the eldest daughter of the Osborne family, will be flying in as the head office representative to audit the accounts. You'd better handle yourself." After my father hung up, my brow furrowed. The demotion was minor, Isabel's arrival was major. She and I had a childhood betrothal. We were childhood friends. Years ago, seeking freedom, I had stormed off abroad alone. She had gripped my hand tightly, warning me. "When the moment we were betrothed, I became your wife. You don't want me. When I find you, I'll kill you." My scalp tingled. Turning around, I saw Victoria and Ethan standing behind me, watching me coldly. "The decision to transfer your position came from me," Victoria stated. "Don't you want to hear why?" Agitated and unwilling to engage, I replied curtly. "No need." I tried to step past them, but Victoria suddenly shouted, "Oh, no need, or too scared to face it." A surge of anger rose in my chest, especially seeing the smug satisfaction in Ethan's eyes. I turned back to face her. "Fine, Victoria Sutton. Give me your explanation. Let's see what I'm supposedly too scared to face." Victoria pulled out a printed announcement and threw it in my face. "Read it yourself." The notice stated, I had been lining my own pockets. The deals I closed were allegedly secured only by offering clients huge kickbacks. Because of me, the company suffered severe losses last year, hence the demotion. This was absolute bullshit. Victoria crossed her arms, looking at me with utter disgust, as if she saw right through me. "No wonder you were always suspecting me. Turns out you had a guilty conscience yourself." I laughed bitterly, pointing at them and demanding sharply, "Who is responsible for the charity's accounts? You or him?" Victoria exploded. "Are you going to tell me now that Ethan took the company's missing funds?" "Let me tell you, Sincere Alden. Every cent in the charity comes from public donations. It has nothing to do with the company. The client you met yesterday was running up huge bills overseas using your name. That's the proof. Stop slinging mud." The assistant put on a pained smile. "Victoria, it's my fault. You were with me the whole time yesterday. Mr. Alden must be angry." Victoria shot me a contemptuous look, then spoke with extreme impatience. "Sincere, for the sake of our marriage, I won't press legal charges. and head office has already sent someone down to audit the books. Apologize to Ethan, and I'll try to get you leniency. Leniency for me? Did Victoria Sutton really think she was that important? I chuckled, tore the announcement into shreds, and threw the pieces at them. Apologize? Apologize? Why should I apologize to this greasy, pretty boy? How many times has he feigned crises this past year? And you, Victoria. Always shield him. Are you my wife or his? Victoria grew even more furious. Are you suspecting Ethan again? Then you really want me to expose all the disgusting things you've done? The assistant quickly stepped between us. Don't, Victoria, you can't say that. Mr. Alden will go to jail. I couldn't stand this manipulative snake for another second. I kicked him hard, sending him sprawling. Do you really think I'm made of clay, letting you slander me day after day? And sincere Alden. Victoria completely lost it, grabbing her phone to call the police. You disappoint me so much. What right do you have to hit Ethan? The assistant grew even more frantic. Don't call the police, Victoria. It's okay if I get hit. Mr. Alden's reputation is more important. Every word he spoke seemed laced with concern for me, but was actually dripping with malice. Yet, I wasn't worried. In fact, I smiled. I had already thoroughly investigated the charity's accounts. Coupled with the suspected theft of trade secrets, if they called the police, they'd basically be arresting themselves. Just as the words left my mouth, a commotion arose behind me. A tall figure with a stylish, sharp haircut strode quickly towards me, her expression impassive. She stopped right in front of me and asked coldly, "Sincere Alden, seeing me here, do you have anything to say?" A look of deep satisfaction flashed across the assistant's eyes. He stared at me mockingly, no longer bothering to hide it. "Miss, it was Sincere Alden who stole company money and hit me. Please make sure you deal with him severely." He finished speaking, looking incredibly smug, but Isabel Osborne simply slapped him hard across the face. And in talking to him, "Who the hell are you to interrupt?" The assistant was stunned. He sat on the floor, his face swelling, unable to process what happened. I almost laughed out loud. Did he really think all women were as easily fooled as Victoria? Isabel Osborne had never fallen for his manipulative act. Victoria was also, but quickly recovered and stepped forward, intending to confront Isabel. But Isabel merely glanced at her coolly. Victoria's feet seemed rooted to the spot, frozen in place. One was a natural-born heiress, the other a fraudulent charity goddess. The difference in their presence, who truly commanded the room, was instantly clear. The entire office fell silent. Isabel finally spoke again, her voice icy. "When I am speaking, do not interrupt." The assistant, furious, but could only glare at me venomously, his eyes seemingly saying, "Let's see how long you can keep this up." But when Isabel looked back at me, her icy gaze suddenly softened, becoming gentle as water. "Sincere, are you hungry? Just bought an apartment in your city. Come to my place. I'll cook for you, okay?" Everyone was completely stunned, especially the assistant, whose hope of seeing me humiliated shattered. He looked utterly crushed, his face flushed red, as if he were about to cough up blood. Victoria's face was a mixture of shock and suspicion. She declared righteously, "Take your little drama somewhere else. This is a company. Remember your position and responsibilities." The assistant chimed in spitefully. "Mr. Alden, Victoria is your wife. Are you planning to cheat on her, flirting like this?" Hearing the word wife, Isabel's eyes instantly sharpened. "You, wife? One, don't sully the title of wife. You are merely his mistress, and an unfaithful one at that." Victoria was enraged. "Who do you think you are? Do you need to protect my husband? We have a marriage certificate." Isabel sneered. "I don't recognize it. Before you even met him, I was Sincere Alden's wife." This news dropped like a bombshell, exploding in everyone's minds. Victoria gritted her teeth, her gaze darting between me and Isabel. "Ha! Sincere Alden, I didn't expect you to be not only dishonest, but also a bigamist. Wonder you questioned me constantly. Turns out you had a history yourself. I started to explain. But Isabel just looked at me pointedly. The warning in her eyes was crystal clear. If I contradicted her now, I would definitely regret it. I knew from playing house with her as kids, when she'd split a brick in half with one slap, that she meant business. My silence seemed to convince Victoria further. She laughed angrily. "Oh, birds of a feather, I will report this to the head office again. The investigator they sent is completely unqualified. In fact, I strongly suspect she's one of Sincere Alden's accomplices." Isabel suddenly pulled a report from her jacket and slapped it onto Victoria's face. "Do you think head office came down here looking for proof because they already knew, or because they're cluelessly fishing around?" Victoria was about to flare up, but her eyes were suddenly drawn to the words "On Charity Association" on the report. She frowned deeply as she read it, then looked suspiciously at the assistant. The assistant panicked, scrambled up from the floor, and grabbed a copy to read. The report clearly documented the subsidiary's fund flows, showing Ethan Young as the operator for all transactions. He immediately knelt before me, crying out, "Unframed Mr. Alden, why would you frame me like this? Is it just because you always suspected my relationship with Victoria?" Victoria took a deep breath, walked over, and helped him up. "Ethan, I believe you. Don't kneel to this animal. This only proves they're definitely working together. Wait until I report this to the group. Someone will come and hold them accountable." Without a word, Isabel took out her phone and handed it directly to Victoria. "Do you still need to file a report? When my phone has the contact numbers for every director and the CEO. Pick one and call them directly." "And she trying to get someone to impersonate an executive? Afraid I'll expose your little game?" Victoria crossed her arms, her tone certain. Isabel gave me a curious glance. I shrugged helplessly. She instantly understood, a captivating smile gracing her lips. "It seems Sincere Alden never told you he's the sole heir to the Alden family, the group's largest shareholder." Victoria's face was filled with scorn. "Someone like Sincere Alden? Worthy of that? Back then, he almost starved on the street. My family gave him food, helped him get where he is today. And aren't you afraid of choking on such a huge lie?" Isabel took my hand and started leading me away. "When I find solid proof, I'll make you believe it. And just make sure you don't regret this," Victoria yelled after us. "Sincere Alden, you dare walk out." Isabel stopped, looked at me intently, and released my hand. I stood caught between them. A satisfied smile finally appeared on Victoria's face. "Ah, come here." But before she could finish, I had already taken Isabel's hand again and turned to leave. Victoria's expression instantly darkened. "Fine, see if you ever come back, when the company will definitely pursue legal action against you for this." Sitting in the passenger seat of Isabel's car, I rubbed my temples and apologized first. "I'm sorry, you really don't have to pretend to still like me. So you think I'm pretending?" I turned my head and met Isabel's gaze, which held a hint of danger. I fell silent. I knew I owed her deeply. My lips moved, but the words caught in my throat. Isabel drove towards an unfamiliar area. My heart leaped into my throat. She wasn't serious about that threat, was she? "Hey, Isabel Osborne, where are we going?" Seeing my nervousness, she scoffed. "What? Are you scared? Relax, I'm not going to kill you. After you left, I did some self-reflection. Maybe it was because I was spoiled and willful before, not feminine enough, so you didn't stay for me. Therefore, I changed for you." I was stunned. Looking at her focused profile as she drove, a complex feeling washed over me. All these years I'd been forging my own path, thinking I understood people. Now I suddenly felt inadequate. Why bother? It wasn't your fault. I'm the one who wronged you. What are you trying to say? That you're not good enough for me? And then leave me again without a word? Sincere Alden, I'm 30 years old now. I've waited 10 years, and then another 10 for you. Are you going to leave me again? Isabel's voice held a trace of stubbornness, her knuckles white as she gripped the steering wheel. She seemed very tense. I hesitated. Owen got married. I don't deserve you doing all this. And get divorced. Isabel slammed on the brakes, stopping the car. We're here. My place. Get out. I looked at the detached villa before me, my mouth twitching. To think I'd better go back to my own place. Isabel suddenly lunged across the console, grabbing me in a restraining hold. Damn, I almost forgot she knew martial arts. In the end, I was forced to sit at her dining table. In front of me was a plate of carefully prepared tomatoes and eggs. Why are you just staring? Do you think my cooking is terrible? My mouth twitched again, my brow furrowed. Tomatoes and eggs. Are they supposed to be black? You didn't put poison in this, did you? Isabel smacked me lightly on the head. Eat. Resigned to my fate, I took a small bite, but the taste was surprisingly delicious. I reassessed her earlier words, an eye changed for you, shining brightly in my mind. Isabel beamed, pleased with herself. My mom was right. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. I paused for a moment, then took a second bite skeptically. But why does this taste exactly like my mom's cooking? She smiled gently. Mom taught me, of course. Isabel explained everything, and I finally understood. Even though I had run away from our arranged marriage, she had truly considered herself my wife, acting as the Alden family's daughter-in-law for over a decade. I stared at her in shock, my mouth dry. But we never even had a wedding. After a long pause, I asked a question that wasn't really a question. Isabel sounded slightly wistful. It's not that we didn't have one. I married your Alden family's ancestral bracelet. Seeing the bracelet is like seeing the person. On the sides, we played wedding ceremonies as kids, didn't we? It doesn't matter. She spoke lightly, but for someone from a prominent family, adopting such a role surely invited gossip and harsh words. I sighed deeply and took her hand. I'm sorry. I owe you and I will definitely repay you. Right then. After we sort this out, we'll fly straight to Italy. Mentioning the investigation brought a frown to my face. Right now, I can only prove the money transfers were made by Ethan Young. But that doesn't prove he stole the company's core secrets. Isabel rolled her eyes charmingly and showed me a photo on her phone. This is a group photo from their charity event. Look closely, dummy. Gardenias bloom in spring or summer, not in February. Doesn't that seem out of season? Still don't get it. What does that imply? I immediately grasped the issue. Fakery. Either this photo is fake, or the entire charity event was staged. But I don't understand, how does this prove Ethan and Victoria stole secrets? Isabel opened her laptop and, right in front of me, uploaded the photo into location analysis software. I investigated thoroughly before coming, and charity is fake. The project to build libraries for children in mountainous regions is also fake. This picture was taken at a film studio. Following the trail, we already uncovered their little scheme, transferring company funds to the charity, then finding excuses to embezzle the money. I've already handed the evidence over to the police. We just need to wait for the arrest warrants. I gave her a thumbs up. I'm seriously impressed. Glancing at my watch, I said, "Wunsch, it's getting late. I should head back." Isabel's smile vanished instantly. Don't push your luck. Where do you think you're going? Watching her pull a set of pajamas clearly prepared for me in advance from the closet. I was speechless. I silently sat back down. Early the next morning, my lawyer informed me the divorce settlement draft was ready. After quickly explaining the situation to Isabel, I headed out. A man past 25 can only handle so much excitement. This was exhausting. I took the divorce agreement back to my own house. But as I reached the door, I found it slightly ajar. Inside, on the living room sofa, Ethan was passionately kissing Victoria, his hands already in inappropriate places. I knocked on the open door and cleared my throat. The two sprang apart like startled birds. "Sincere Alden, how dare you only come back now?" Without a word, I walked over, pulled out the divorce agreement, tossed it on the table and handed her a pen. "Take a look. According to the agreement, I leave with nothing. Everything we accumulated over the years stays with you." Victoria looked at me, uncertain. "Sincere Alden, what is the meaning of this?" Ethan quickly interjected. "Oh, Mr. Alden, please don't force Victoria. It's my fault. I insisted on coming to take care of her. Hit me. Just hit me instead." I looked at him, puzzled. "Ethan Young, I don't get it. I'm getting divorced, you get to take my place. Shouldn't you be happy? Aren't you tired of this act?" Ethan subtly glanced at Victoria, a flash of impatience in his eyes. I understood. It seemed Victoria was unwilling to divorce. Victoria stood up, walked over to me, her expression stern. "Are you determined to go through with this?" I nodded. "Sign it quickly." Victoria gave me a long, hard look. "Remember this, you brought all of this upon yourself." Sinai did not cheat. "When the police investigate you later, don't blame me." An hour after she signed the divorce papers, I suddenly found myself trending online. Victoria, appearing on camera as the charity goddess, held up her ID card and publicly accused me of adultery and domestic violence. Incited netizens began relentlessly attacking me online. Worse, some started sending harassing messages to my private number. "My God, this guy looks decent, but what he does behind closed doors is worse than a dog." Victoria Sutton is a charity goddess, the dream girl of countless men. You didn't cherish her and resorted to domestic violence? You're a beast, and scum like you should just die. I scrolled through the slander and abuse impassively. Then I saw a message, likely from Victoria. A smiley face emoji in text. "Can't you secretly married someone else behind my back? I didn't leave you, yet you're the one demanding a divorce. So you showed no mercy, so I'll show no righteousness." As Victoria produced more and more fabricated evidence from unknown sources, the online attacks against me intensified. Even my former parents-in-law, George and Eleanor Sutton, called to berate me. They called me ambitious and ungrateful, accusing me of throwing away something precious, but I didn't refute any of it. Isabel had already reassured me, telling me not to panic, to let them have their moment for a couple of days. The police had confirmed a few days prior that the arrests were imminent. Malicious slander and inciting online harassment, those charges would be serious enough for Victoria. I remained silent for several days. During this time, Victoria leveraged the publicity wave. She landed endorsement deals with several brands and started live streaming sales events. It seemed the worse things got for me, the better their lives became. Even Ethan dropped his act, constantly sending arrogant texts from different numbers. "You useless piece of trash, just because I called you Mr. Alden a few times, you think you're hot stuff? Just wait for jail when you get out. Maybe you'll see Victoria welcoming you with someone else's baby. Trying to fight me? Take a good look at yourself, you're nothing." Finally, the police confirmed the evidence was conclusive and moved to arrest the suspects. On that day, Victoria was live streaming from the Charity Association's office. She tearfully recounted her supposed suffering, painting me as the worst man imaginable. Her assistant, Ethan, stood beside her the entire time, gazing at her affectionately, occasionally offering a tissue. The chat flooded with comments. "OMG, so sincere Alden is that kind of dog. Am I the only one shipping Ethan and Victoria? They look so good together. Tia, Ethan is Victoria's true love. He's stuck by her through everything." Ethan couldn't hide his smile as he read the comments. Victoria blushed slightly. "If heaven gave me another chance, Ethan, I would definitely marry you." This public declaration of love sent the livestream viewership soaring and sobbing. "Our goddess deserves happiness. Get away from the abusive cheater." The sisters, type your blessings in the chat. But at that moment, the police kicked open the door and, without hesitation, slapped handcuffs on both of them. "Your game is up. Please come with us." After a moment of stunned silence, the live chat filled with, Victoria and Ethan were clearly bewildered, until they saw me slowly walking in behind the officers. They immediately started shouting, "Officer, officer, you've got the wrong people. Sincere Alden is the one who stole secrets and embezzled funds." But the police just gave them a cold look. "No mistake. Ethan Young, you're suspected of stealing trade secrets and misappropriation of assets. Victoria Sutton, you're suspected of illegal fundraising and maliciously inciting online harassment. How is this possible?" They still couldn't believe it, struggling against the handcuffs. "Did you conspire with Sincere Alden? Did he pay you off?" Maliciously slandering police officers in front of so many people added another charge to their list. Amidst their indignant protests, Ethan and Victoria were taken away for investigation. The online harassment scandal took a shocking turn. Mr. Harrison, having returned from his trip, immediately bought trending spots online to clear my name. The next day, the headline "And a True Face of the Charity Goddess Exposed" dominated the news. Countless brands scrambled to cut ties with Victoria, terminating their contracts. She faced astronomical compensation claims. The amount was so large that not only would she lose all the money she'd recently earned, but even the assets I'd left her in the divorce wouldn't be enough. She would be buried in debt. But it wasn't over. The police recovered their phone chat logs. They found concrete proof of their affair and uncovered that Ethan was simultaneously involved with 8 wealthy patrons of varying ages and genders. Overnight, he became a public pariah, his reputation destroyed. Those wealthy patrons publicly vowed they wouldn't let Ethan off easily. I heard that in prison, he lived in constant fear, terrified every day. He ended up perpetually tormented by paranoia. When George and Eleanor Sutton heard the news, they rushed over that same night to apologize. They hoped I would show mercy towards Victoria for the sake of our past marriage and ask for leniency. I acknowledged they had helped me in the past, but I had emptied my savings for Eleanor's heart surgery, George's extravagant parties, the fancy house, the expensive liquor. I had paid for all of it. Over the past 3 years, I considered my debt repaid in full, so I refused to even see them. Taking Isabel's hand, I planned to return to Italy immediately for a proper wedding ceremony to make up for the lost time. But I hadn't expected my parents, hearing about the online attacks all the way in Italy, to fly back to see me. After giving me a stern lecture, we decided together to hold the wedding domestically. It was only then I learned that Isabel had gone abroad solely to be with the younger me she remembered from childhood. I held her tightly. On the wedding day, Isabel wore her gown, smiling at me, her eyes full of sweetness and happiness. It's rare for a woman to wear a wedding dress twice for the same man. "Sincere Alden, tell me, am I lucky or unlucky?" I smiled back at her. "I'll spend the rest of my life showing you." Her eyes welled up, and she pouted playfully. But just as the ceremony was halfway through, a heart-wrenching, desperate cry came from the entrance. "Sincere Alden, how could you marry someone else? Pon, we haven't even finalized our divorce." Turning, I saw Victoria standing at the door, tears streaming down her face. Confused, I looked at the police officers beside her. They explained, "Victoria Sutton is pregnant. She's currently out on bail." Pregnant? That was truly unexpected. Victoria walked towards me, her belly slightly swollen, her face tear-streaked and mournful. "I know I was wrong, husband. To know how hard you worked for the company all these years. I shouldn't have been so reckless and ruined your deal. I know you weren't the one cooking the books. I misunderstood you. And I know I shouldn't have slandered you maliciously. Ethan is the real scum. He manipulated me into doing those things. And Senye was kept in the dark the whole time, and already been punished. Can't you forgive me now?" I shook my head. Crocodile tears, not worthy of sympathy. Believe what you want, but your affair is proven fact. I don't want to waste another breath on you. Officers, please escort her out. I'm in the middle of my wedding, rather busy." Victoria abruptly dropped to her knees. "No, don't make me leave. There's one more thing I haven't said. The baby I'm carrying is yours, not Ethan's." My parents' expressions on the stage shifted subtly. No matter how disgusting Victoria's actions had been, for a wealthy family, a potential heir changed the equation. Isabel's hand turned cold in mine, the earlier sweetness vanishing, replaced by a flash of pain in her eyes. "If it really is your child, Sincere, perhaps you should go back to her." She turned to leave, but I quickly caught her hand. "Where are you running off to? When we haven't slept together in over a year. How could she be pregnant with my child?" I looked at Victoria, curious to see how she would spin this lie. Victoria scanned the room, bit her lip, and forced herself to say, "How could it not be yours, Sincere? And we just need to go to the hospital for a test. And you'll know." Her confident demeanor made the surrounding guests frown. But I laughed out loud. "Victoria, oh Victoria, and say leopard can't change its spots. And you keep saying Ethan manipulated you, but don't you realize? You're the one who's always been full of lies." I beckoned with my hand, and 2 doctors in white coats immediately stepped forward from the back. "Since you claim to know so much, did you know this?" Isabel wasn't lying. I really am the sole heir to the Alden Group, and I have personal doctors with me at all times. So any plan you had to trick me into going to a specific hospital for fake test results won't work. Check her." Victoria finally panicked, raw fear flickering in her eyes. She stammered, No, wait a minute." But no one was going to wait. In less than half an hour, the test results were back. No biological relation. Her desperate pleas couldn't quell the anger of the assembled friends and family. Amidst shouts of unforgettable out, she was forcibly removed from the venue. After the wedding, Isabel and I traveled the world for our honeymoon. The next time we heard news of them, Victoria's pregnancy didn't come to term. She miscarried. After serving her sentence, society ostracized her. Pointed fingers followed her everywhere. Eventually, she disappeared, moving far away, her whereabouts unknown. As for Ethan, his nerve was completely broken. He was committed to a psychiatric hospital, constantly raving that people were trying to harm him. Isabel and I decided to turn their fake charity into a real one. We built a library for children in the mountainous region, naming it the Ice Integrity Library. Coincidentally, it was located near Victoria's old elementary school. A reminder to future generations: never deceive those closest to you.